Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about what's been going on with Overwatch recently and what's to come. We did just get a dev update and I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but also I have some kind of theories and whatnot. So a lot of the stuff I'm going to talk about today isn't factual information. A lot I'm going to talk about is speculation, theorizing, but I will make sure you know what is factual and what is theorizing. But before I jump into everything, I just want to give a big shout out to everybody out there who is watching. I just hit 100 subscribers yesterday. Hopefully by the time this video goes up, that is still the case. But I just wanted to thank everyone. I've been really working on this for about a year and 2 months now. So about 14 months now I've been working on this. I guess it's more like 13 months. But it's been really fun. I've enjoyed it. And I've for so long kind of wanted to do YouTube and just never really found something to do, and I didn't really find videos that I enjoyed making and whatnot, and then I finally found something that I enjoy making, and I really like it, and I'm glad that there are people out there who enjoy it too. So thank you all for watching, and hopefully 100 more, and then more and more and more after that. Obviously 100 in the grand scheme of YouTube doesn't really mean a whole lot, but it means a lot when you can see numbers going up and you can see that people are enjoying what you're doing, and it's not just something that you're doing and talking blindly to nobody. You know that at least there's some people watching, so thank you. But let's jump into what's going on. Let's jump into this dev update. Let's jump into everything that's happening, because I think it's important to understand what exactly is going on and where the current game is kind of headed. So originally, my video was going to be, we've heard literally nothing from the Overwatch team. It's been 2 weeks. What's going on? And then we got this dev update, which was a very short dev update. It's about 4 minutes long, a little less than that. I'll link it in the description down below. But we get this dev update, and the basis of this dev update is pretty simply, there's more updates coming very, very soon, more dev updates. And we have an idea of at least what 2 of them probably are. And maybe a third, and that's really where the theorizing starts to come in a little bit more. But one of the things that Jeff Kaplan did say for sure in this update is that Summer Games is, of course, coming back. It's going to be happening, quote, much sooner than it usually happens, and it will feature weekly challenges to unlock 3 epic skins, much like the kind of challenges we've seen with Baptiste and Ana and Diva. We have something like that. So for each of the 3 weeks, there'll be a new challenge, and you can get 3 skins by doing that. So there will likely be a dev update when Summer Games happens, and it's happening much sooner than it usually happens, which means it's probably going to happen either late this month or very early next month. The other thing, of course, that people have been waiting on is Hero 31, which typically comes out late June, early July. The latest summer hero that we have currently that has ever been released was Ana, who came out July 12th of 2016. So Hero 31 will likely be after that. Obviously, this video is coming out on July 12th, and I don't expect us to have Hero 31 at this time. But Jeff did say that Hero 31 will be here, quote, soon enough, and will be, quote, worth the wait. My guess is it's a big hero, and they probably had to push it back because it took a lot longer than they expected it to. We also know that Hero 31 is a male, so it isn't Junker Queen or Demon. It's also not Sojourner Echo, but we knew it wouldn't be Sojourner Echo, so that's not that weird. So those are kind of the main things that he touched on. He also talked about they're going to continue iterating on subtitles, the system that they just implemented in PTR, and they're also working on the cheating detection, which is something I have not yet actually talked about. I didn't actually know that was a new feature. I thought it was just a feature that they never actually did, and it was just so rarely used that they just never actually did anything with it. But no, it is a new feature that I will definitely need to talk about a little bit more in the future, and I'll talk about a little bit more in Overwatch Weekly next week. But that's kind of what he talked about. So we know about realistically 2 dev updates that are coming. One would be the Summer Games one, the other would be the Hero 31 update. The Hero 31 one will likely come before the Summer Games one, but maybe not. Maybe we get Summer Games before we get our next hero. Typically, they do a hero and then 2 events and then a new hero and then 2 events and a new hero. But maybe it doesn't happen this time around. Maybe we only get, or maybe we get 3 events before we get our next hero. I doubt it. I assume we'll get a new hero before then, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, really, at this point in time, it could be any week now. And it's been that way, but now we know it's coming a little bit later than usual, so we will get it eventually. But the thing that it brings up, and the question it brings up is, well, what's been going on then? Because they haven't really said anything, and now we know why. A lot of that's because they're hard at work on Hero 31, which we kind of knew. But he also teased some other quality of life changes and some other stuff. But the thing that really kind of makes you wonder is the fact that we have the rumor that 222 lock is coming to Overwatch League Stage 4. Now, I still say it's a rumor. I don't say it's confirmed. I know Fissure said that it's coming, but there was rumors about it coming in Stage 3, and it didn't happen. So obviously it could come in Stage 4, but who knows if it's actually going to happen. Obviously, none of the actual players who are currently playing have commented on it. Fissure obviously just retired, so I don't really expect us to be able to confirm or deny it until Stage 4 happens. But it really led me to think, realistically, 222 has to be something that they're working on. Just because of the way that the community has been kind of acting recently and the way the game has been recently. It's not in a good place, and it's not in a good place for one major reason. The difference between the ladder and the Overwatch League is bigger than it has ever been. And it's really, really frustrating because when you watch the Overwatch League, you're seeing a lot of GOATs. You're seeing a lot of 3-3 and tank-heavy compositions. Now, Stage 3, we've started to see a bit of a move away from that into more Sombra GOATs. We're getting 3-2-1. We're replacing the Diva with the Sombra. And then some teams like the LA Valiant or the Houston Outlaws who have been running a lot more DPS-heavy compositions. Even the Shanghai Dragons are still running a bit of that. But in general, we've been seeing a move away from that traditional 3-3 into more DPS-heavy 3-3, which is good for the game. It's more exciting to see a Widowmaker and a Hanzo, or a Junkrat or a Pharah, and for some people, obviously Sombra too. But it's not obviously fully gone. There are still times you have to run 3-3 because you just can't get through certain points with DPS compositions. It just doesn't work if the other team is running 3-3. It's just so strong that you can't run anything else into it. So we're seeing some changes, but it seems very possible that 222 is coming to the Overwatch League, and it seems like it's going to happen based on what we've heard with these rumors and whatnot. Then you look at the ladder, and the problem with the ladder is you go into a game and you never get a good team composition. Almost rarely you get one. Sometimes I get 2-2-2 matches where I have 2 tanks and 2 supports and 2 DPS, and usually I'm playing a tank or a support in those compositions, but sometimes, and very rarely in the games that surprise me the most, I jump into a game, and I usually fill, because that, to me, is the best way to do it, so that there's at least some semblance of balance. I'll jump into a game, and 2 people pick a tank right away, 2 people pick a support right away, and I'm like, wow, I'm actually stuck in my worst role of DPS. But, you know, sometimes I'll be like, I'd rather play support rather than play a tank, but it's been nice to when those games happen, but they're very rare. It's very rare to come into a game where it's 2-2-2, which to me is the most fun way to play, because you have everything you need, and obviously you're going to get different levels of play. Not every person that's playing a main tank is any good. Not everyone that plays a DPS is bad. Not every, you have various levels of play, but at least you don't feel like you're just bashing your head against a wall when playing. It feels at least like it's somewhat competitive. Even if you're getting rolled over, like there's some way of saying like we're just getting outplayed. It's not like we just have such a horrible team composition that it's just useless and it's pointless to play. There's a lot more fun to be had when you have a decent composition. So we know that it is something that people have wanted, is 2-2-2, and we've seen people asking it, and we've seen the devs talk about the fact that to make the game easier to balance. Of course, Brigitte is the hero that they use to kind of really show you like it would be easier, because Brigitte in a composition right now where it's 2 supports, if you run a Brigitte, she's awful, but if you put her in a 3 composition, or a 3-3 composition, she's really good. That's getting off topic. So we've seen kind of both sides of it, where The Overwatch League is struggling because people don't want to watch GOATs all the time. I don't mind GOATs. I actually think GOATs is pretty entertaining to watch. I think Stage 3 has been incredibly entertaining with the way things have changed as well. So to me, it doesn't really matter. I just like to see the pros play at the highest level. I think it's entertaining no matter what. As someone who doesn't play a lot of DPS, to me, I don't really need to see a lot of DPS play because I can learn a lot more from watching the main tanks and the supports and seeing how the different players play the heroes that I tend to play more often. But I also like seeing Carpe or DM pop off on a Widowmaker or Pine. You know, that to me is also fun. So Overwatch League viewership is taking a bit of a hit, I think, as a result of GOATs. I don't think as many people are watching it. So I think if you're them, you want to make people also be able to see the players they like. Like, Pine isn't playing because he's not really good in this meta. But if you put him in a DPS-heavy meta, you'll probably see a lot more Pine. And he'll probably get to do a lot more because he's a very good player, but he's not a very good player in the current meta. So if it is true that 222 is coming to the Overwatch League, the logical next step would be to put it into the actual game, because the fans of the game want it, the fans of the Overwatch League want to see it, Overwatch League players, some of them probably want to see it, some of them probably don't. The Vancouver Titans might not be a team that really wants to see a 2-2-2 composition be the norm, because they are a team that is better at GOATs and 3-3 compositions, so you never know there. But at the end of the day, I think it's better to do anyway, and I just think that is where the next thing is. But the reason why maybe we're seeing such a long wait between what's going on is because they have decided to push forward that as kind of their main priority right now, and have essentially taken some resources off of development of Hero 31. Because if you want to do a 2-2-2 update, and you want to force 2-2-2, you have to also update heroes. So you have to have a major balance changes patch to balance heroes like Brigitte, or like Junkrat, or Doomfist, or Reaper. Some of these heroes that are really strong right now, because of the way the game is, or that are weak right now. A hero like Reaper, they made him really strong because of a major tank meta. So you want to weaken him a little bit so he's not overpowered. And maybe a hero like Junkrat, who is also kind of a good tank buster, you want to bring him back a little bit so he's not as overpowered. So maybe the Overwatch League was like, hey, we want to be doing this. We want to be pushing forward 2-2-2. We don't want to be stuck in this meta because it's hurting viewership and we need to be more profitable. So it'd be better, we think, if you kind of forced it into this narrow kind of composition. And it's the one that works the best. The reason why it works the best is because you don't get rid of anything by doing 4-1-1. You don't. You get rid of GOATs, and you just have somber GOATs all the time. So you don't get rid of anything by locking 4-1-1. And if you're a player in the game, not a pro, just like a player, 4-1-1's awful too, because playing a support into 4 DPS is awful. It's so frustrating to do. It's just really bad. Like, I want 2 tanks. I want a main tank. I want an off tank. I can play that off tank. I can play a support, whether it be main or off. I'd prefer not to play a main tank, but if I have to, I will. But if I know at least that I have supports that are backing me up, and DPS players that are not 4 DPS players all just running in on their own and getting killed individually because they're just feeding hardcore. If I know that I can play a Reinhardt, or I can play a Winston, or I can play an Orisa, and I have a D.Va, or a Zarya, or a Wrecking Ball even, or a Roadhog even, to at least help me take some of that damage and help kind of keep me up as well, it's so much more entertaining to play, and it's more fun to play. So I think one of the reasons why Hero 31 was pushed back, sure, it was something that needed more time, they weren't ready, but I think there's a lot more to it. I think 2-2-2 is coming very soon. I just think there's a lot of evidence that supports that idea, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Overwatch League itself was really pushing the team to really hammer in kind of getting towards a 2-2-2 lock in the game. Maybe role queuing as well. Jeff said, of course, multiple quality of life changes are coming, so we'll see if that's one of them. We don't actually know yet what quality of life change Jeff was talking about that he said would be coming this year. Maybe he did, and I just don't remember it. But I don't remember him saying exactly which one that was. I would assume maybe subtitles, but we'll have to see. I don't know exactly, but that's really all I have to say in this video. Just giving my thoughts on why I think maybe we've been kind of in the dark in what's happening with the game. So if you enjoyed, consider liking and subscribing because it helps out a lot, helps the growth, and the recent stuff has been great. So I'm very happy with everything, and I'm glad that people have enjoyed. But I'm going to get out of here. Once again, thank you, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!